How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. I also got to put in the disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor and this isn't financial advice. So just know when you do invest, you're doing it at your own risk. So today we're going to be talking about OCGN, ocugen. That is correct. I know many of you have been asking many questions inside of the comments. So you know what? We're going to be having it. But you know what? Before I even get into all of that, of course, let's go over the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below in the description. But if you are a shareholder or you're considering to take a position, I suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing that we're going to be covering, we're going to be having a discussion with the current conditions with Ocugen, Bharat Biotech, and as far as where they decided to pivot to in regards to Covaxin and really just getting it out there in North America, which is Canada and the US. This is very key, and also giving you my stance, but I might do that in the final thoughts. But the discussion part, you don't want to miss it because you guys are going to get the lowdown as far as what's going on right now with Ocugen, all right? The second thing is we're going to be doing a technical analysis. We want to take a look at the overall price action. What is it looking like? Is it looking bearish or is it looking bullish? Where are some areas that you can add to if the stock does decide to pull back even further? And is the dip that you're currently seeing, is it a big time opportunity? Well, you know what? We're going to find that out. And the next thing, we're going to be taking a look at the short interest information. Recent news has came out, so a lot of things have changed. Are there more short sellers in this play? Are they saying, well, you know what, this stock is overvalued, the price needs to come down? Well, you know what, we're about to find out in this video, and then when all of that is done, I'll be giving you guys my final thoughts. So let's get into it. Now let's have a discussion about OCGN. The first thing we're going to be talking about is Canada and the EUA. So we know they're applying for emergency use authorization over here in Canada, which is where I live. But here's the interesting part though. We've literally just started opening things back up. So as far as for the demand for a vaccine, I'm very curious to know, is it really there? This is a very similar situation to United States. As you know, they open things back up and a large portion of the population is vaccinated already. And it's the very same situation that's going down in Canada with over 50% of the population being vaccinated already as well. So as far as things are looking, I must say it is not looking the greatest, but it does provide an interesting situation here. If they do end up getting the EUA in Canada, it will have an impact on the overall stock price. But do understand the conditions going down in Canada, things are opening up and a lot of people are out there being vaccinated already. So by the time Ocugen is actually ready to bring Covaxin to Canada, will there really be an immediate need for it? And I feel like shareholders really need to ask themselves these questions. I am not trying to be bearish or I'm not trying to be doubtful about Ocugen, but I feel like these are questions you need to know. You need to really ask yourself, can Covaxin get into Canada? Most definitely. And that actually brings me over to the second point. We already know that, and we are already aware they're no longer pursuing the EUA. They're going to be going towards the BLA. In order for them to actually do this, they're going to have to work alongside with Bharat Biotech to do trials on US soil. So this is going to be taking quite a bit of time here. So a lot of timelines are going to be getting extended. And what does this mean? We know that time is of the essence here. So we know as far as Covaxin is concerned, the more people who are out there getting vaccinated already with the current vaccines that are available, it does have an impact on Ocugen. It does have an impact on Bharat Biotech as far as how they can actually produce it and how quick they can get it out, and also get everything that needs to be done as far as what the FDA actually requires. And that's another thing that you need to understand as well. Now, for the third point that I want to talk about, Bharat Biotech said, well, you know what? The final phase 3 data is going to be coming out near the end of the month, or it's going to be coming out soon. And I think this is going to be really good because depending on what those results are, will have an impact on the overall success for Covaxin. So when we get those test results, I'm really looking forward to them looking really good. We've seen they've released previous data already, and the fact of the matter is Covaxin is definitely a strong competitor that is out there. In my personal opinion, I want to see Covaxin succeed, but we do have to understand the fact, since that the market already is flooded with a lot of vaccines, this does limit the potential of Covaxin overall in general. We do know that they're also doing studies on younger populations, but again, this is going to take even more time. So this gives even more time for their competitors to improve on the current offerings that they have as well. So these are things to understand, I feel like, if you're going to be taking a position and investing in this company for this particular play. We already know, as far as for Ocugen, their focus is on gene therapy for curing blindness. So if you're in this play, you have to know that, you have to be aware of that, and this is something that could be even a bigger catalyst for them as well. They are making sure that they have the right people in place to make sure this launch runs smoothly. They're making sure that they have also the management that has the expertise and as well as the experience, because we know it's going to take a lot of work, especially if you want to see Covaxin be successful. So if you're in this particular play, I just want to make sure you're aware and you know what the risks are. So right now, at the moment, you have to continue to be patient and wait to see how things unfold. Of course, if there's more updates that prove to be favorable, we'll end up seeing an impact on the overall stock. And to finish it up for my last point, I know many of you have asked this question. Yes, so I have sold my position. I said that in a previous video, but it was only for a small profit. My cost basis was in the 7s, and I ended up selling right at 8 where it topped out at, and that was about it. So I'm not in it currently, but I am keeping it on my watch list because, as you guys know, I love trading off the overall momentum itself. So taking all of this into consideration, you're probably asking, so should I be selling out? You should not be selling out if you have high conviction, number one. If you have a short-term goal or you're a swing trader, you should have been out of this play a long time ago, just like myself. Because at the end of the day, do you really want to ride this stock when it's on a downtrend or while it's catching a falling knife here? You do not want to be riding that out. You can move your money to other opportunities and then wait when things or the environment looks a lot more favorable for Ocugen. Right now, it is definitely not the time to be riding some losses out and just waiting. But if you have high conviction, then it's completely fine to do that. So now let's get into the technical analysis as well as the short interest information, and then I'll be giving you guys my final thoughts. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for OCGN. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing at $6.34, being down 5.23% on the day. On the low, it tested $6.15, then on the high, testing $7.05. So what we want to see is how well it's lining up with their indicators. Just in case you're curious, we are using the 1-year daily chart. So when we take a look at the RSI, let's start down below here. You're right in this 37 area. So being at 37, it is definitely in the oversold territory. So what this means is if you do believe in the long-term prospects and you see upside in the stock from here, it might be a great area to consider to add. Now, if we take a look at the 200-day, of course, it's showing strength being well above it, but it has broken through the 100-day, and it's also broken through the 21-day EMA, of course, with the recent news that was announced. So what I'll be looking out for, can it pull back even further? Let's wait and see. We can see that it got down to around $6.15, showed some strength, and then we see that it had a high of $7.05. So what I would want to be looking forward to in regards to OCGN, if it does decide to pull back further, I'd want to see how well it can hold up here right around $5.90 if it breaks through that $6 level. If this area does ever end up breaking, then I'd want to be very curious to see how well it can hold up right here around $5.35, right? Let's go $5.30. So I want to see how well it would hold up around $5.30. If $5.30 does ever decide to end up breaking, things can get very interesting. I'd want to look forward to seeing it actually testing right here on the 200-day, and then I'd want to see it actually rebound from there because I'd feel like that'd be very low. I'm not saying this is what's going to be happening, but I want to make sure you guys are prepared and you're not surprised if it does happen. So considering how this chart is looking like, of course, it is looking fairly bearish. It does look like there's going to be a lot more downside pressure, but I also won't be surprised if we see another test in the 7. So let's look forward to seeing how this week turns out. So we're on Fintel. We're going to take a look at the short interest information for OCGN. So on the Friday close, we had a short volume ratio of 27%. So this is fairly significant. What does this look like? Out of 46.9 million shares that were traded, 12.5 million of those shares were actually sold short. We take a look at the short shares availability. It is at 200,000, updated close to 30 minutes ago, and the short borrow free rate is at 5.64%. And as you can see, it has creeped up quite a bit. You can see back here on June the 7th, it was at 18.37, and here we are at 26.62. No surprise that it has been creeping up due to the fact that the news that came out recently, we have a lot of short sellers that want to attack this stock, and they're saying, hey, the price needs to come down. So what you need to know, there's going to be a lot of volatility in this play, and it's part of the reasons why I showed you guys those potential areas where it can pull back to. And if you believe in the long-term prospects, and if you feel there's even more upside, could present a very good opportunity here. But we do know if a certain catalyst does end up coming out, we know how fast this stock can actually reverse. So for my final thoughts for OCGN, definitely gonna have to continue to be patient when it comes to this play. And if you're in this play already, this is something that should not be unknown to you. Another thing to understand, the short interest is fairly high, being at 27%. Now, this is no surprise whatsoever due to the fact that they've changed everything up. They're no longer getting that EUA, and they're going to be pursuing the BLA. So it's bringing in a lot of skeptical short sellers saying, hey, you know what? This stock needs to come down. There's no potential whatsoever. Things are not going to be working out. And that's the reason why we're seeing a climb in the overall short volume ratio. So just know that this is going to bring even more volatility into this stock. But if you have high conviction and you really do believe in this play, it can pull back even further and get down to a price where it can help you bring down your cost basis or be able to ride that momentum back up when things start going into your favor. Another thing that I want to cover, and I covered a little bit about this when I was doing the discussion portion, is more so if you're in this particular play and you don't have high conviction and you had a short-term focus with it, then you should have sold out a long time ago. There is no point riding the stock down, missing out on other opportunities when you could have moved your money somewhere else. And then when you have that profit that you would have gained, then you could say, well, you know, it looks like it's kind of leveled out over there at OCGN. Let me get in now and then ride that ride up. That's one of the smart ways to actually go about doing it. And that's the reason why I did it myself. You guys also do know, and you're also aware, these particular plays come with volatility. You know what this was all dependent on. The potential was them getting that EUA. So the fact that they did not end up getting it, yes, it's not a good thing. It sucks, whatever the case may be. But at the same time, if you have high conviction, they will recover. They will be able to make that strong move, and you'll see the change in the overall price. Do know there's a lot of moving parts that are going on here. It would be different if Ocugen was the one that actually came up with the vaccine, but since they are partnering up with Bharat Biotech, it just adds more between the timelines. This is part of the reasons why we talk about both of them on this channel when I do OCGN videos. Bharat Biotech needs to make sure they're making a lot of vaccines as far as to help out on what's going on in India. And now they have to make sure they put resources and make sure they can conduct trials on US soil. And again, they have a lot of things going on, especially with WHO, the CDC. Again, the list goes on. So keeping this into consideration, you just know if you're in this play, you have to be patient. You have to look at it this way. You can't go in here looking for a quick buck. It is not going to work that way. So if you're in OCGN and you have high conviction, my hat's off to you. And in regards to the EUA and Canada, I'm going to continue to keep you guys updated as I get more information available to me. But I'm just letting you know right now what's going down in Canada. Most of the population has already been vaccinated and things are already opening up. So what I'm curious about when Covaxin is available, or if we end up actually accepting it, is the demand going to be there? I'd want it to be there so I could trade out the momentum. But hey, I just want to make sure things are practical and you guys are understanding what you're really getting yourself into. But for the most part, I really do want to see Covaxin succeed because I feel like it's definitely one of those vaccines out there that could be very competitive, and it does use a traditional technology that we're used to in vaccines already. And it's also shown to be very good. 100% efficacy rating against severe cases is something that you should definitely get out there in the world. But hey, we'll have to be patient, see what happens. And yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video.